Get ready. It's time. Christina, Catherine, Lisa, Amy, and Lauren. Welcome to the Cimarelli Podcast.
Hey, I'm Christina.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Amy.
I'm Lauren.
And we're Cimarelli.
Welcome back to
The Cimarelli Podcast.
I was going to say, that sounded weird.
the high voice and the low voice.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Amy's voice is high, just a low note.
True. I speak on a lower note, but my timbre is higher. You know.
Okay.
Whatever.
Okay, Lauren. Anyway, welcome back to the Cimarelli Podcast. This is episode 132. Woo! Which means we've done 132 episodes of this podcast.
That's crazy.
Yeehaw. This podcast will be fully on our YouTube and our Patreon. So, hello, hang out with us for our full hour today, YouTube. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, by we, I mean they, are going to be talking about your cycles.
What they?
Amy
You're not
will
going to
be
say anything.
You think I'm not going to, I don't have anything to add. I'm just like, yeah.
Okay.
So they're going to be talking. I'm going to be listening. We're all going to learn some new facts today, some fun facts. So if that sounds good to you, keep watching, blah, blah, blah. And thank you for joining us here. And if you'd love to support our podcast, join our Patreon where we're doing lots of fun stuff all the time, guys. Check it out below.
We post all the episodes on there? Did you
Yes,
say that?
we post all the full episodes on our Patreon, which I think I said. And if I didn't,
All of them are on there. If you want every single one,
Yeah,
you gotta
all
go there.
132
Including
episodes.
next week. Let's tell them what we're doing next week.
Oh.
Let's give them a preview.
Next week, we're doing...
I'm so excited
you know,
for
a few
this.
weeks ago, we did the rules for relationships one, where we went through the list and we said
Oh,
what
it's gonna
we
be
think
fun.
about them. Next week, we're doing our rules for parenting. So these are more like theoretical.
Yeah,
Because
for
it's
like
more
older
like
kids.
parenting older kids or like
I
what
mean,
we think
I
we're
feel
going
like for all of us, it's theoretical because none of us have older kids
yeah.
yet. You know,
Yeah, it's
feel
totally
like that?
theoretical.
but it'll
It's
be
like-
interesting to hear the opinions.
It's what we think we're going to do.
We
Who
have that
knows?
list that has like parties,
curfews,
sleepover, drinking, all those things we're going to say, what our parenting opinions are.
It's going to be
At this
interesting,
time.
folks.
As a parent of a 1-year-old, I'm really
Yeah.
facing those things.
We might
Or
eat
two
all of
1-year-olds.
our words in about 17, 18 years. So.
But we'll
Probably.
see. It's
We'll see.
still an interesting topic.
So before we start, we do our highs and our lows, ladies. So let's get into it. Let's break the ice.
Oh, I'm going to say, I assume most of you are watching. Yeah, most of you are watching this and not listening. But if you hear Tristan, she's like, she's getting ready to go to sleep and she just like squirms a little. So I have to bounce her a lot and then she'll pass out. But she's trying to pass out right now. So I just have to be a little aggressive for now.
Yeah, she's sitting on like one of those exercise balls, in case you're wondering.
Because if I stop bouncing, then she's like, giddy up, lady. So I gotta keep going.
Not
She's
the
a stern
giddy up.
mistress.
Okay, so who wants to go first with their high and low?
Oh, I can go.
You tell us, Kath.
I would say my low, it's not horrible, but it's just this morning has been kind of stressful. Husband's having some car trouble, so we're trying to figure that out.
Not the car trouble.
that's
Yeah, and it's just like he's borrowing a car, so he has to figure out a car for work, and it's just like, and then they're like, oh, we don't have the car, I need to do another day, and we're just like, oh my gosh. And on top of that, I had to take one of my sons to the doctor this morning by myself, so my mom was watching the other twin, so I was taking Leo.
Oh, that's weird.
So, I mean, it was fine. It all went fine, but it's just kind of stressful. Like, make sure that, like,
Yeah.
we go to the right place and everything. And it was far away. And, oh my gosh, hopefully he eats. And, like, anyway, it ended up being fine. But it was just stressful this morning. And I'm like, I got here and I'm like, so that's definitely kind of my low. It's just like a little stressful. But hopefully we will get everything figured out. Just got to figure it out. And then my high, it's weird. My high was this weekend. I literally did nothing this weekend. We intentionally said no to a few things that I really wanted to do, but I was like, you know what? We've gone out gone places so much last couple
party
weekends.
animals.
I mean, yeah, it was like family gatherings, but and like friend gatherings, but which were great things. But we were just kind of like, oh, we need to like stay home, catch up on stuff. I literally went through my closet and like got rid of, I don't even know. Oh, I have clothes for you guys. Oh, I got rid of like 5 to 6 bags of clothes.
I love it.
Organized my
Minimalism.
wardrobe, got
I have
all
a
my
bunch,
fall
too.
stuff out, put my summer and spring stuff away.
For you,
It
Kat.
was amazing and so needed. And when I got dressed, I was like, bam, grabbed it. Oh, I forgot about this turtleneck. Ooh, grabbed it. It was
Love
quick.
it. I love the turtleneck.
So yeah, it feels good. I like my closet is very organized and
You do have a...
minimalistic.
Oh, it feels so good when your closet's
vibe.
organized.
Right? It takes like, it took
the
me like a
biggest stress
fraction
reliever.
of the time to get ready because I wasn't
my
going through all
gosh.
these clothes I don't even like to try to find one thing I liked.
Love to see
So
it.
yeah. But anywho, so that's my high and low.
I think my low was that I was so tired on Friday. I was like, I'm going to cry. I don't remember. Oh, because I was with Barrett like most of the day. And so I was like,
You're like, all right, let's play take a nap.
yeah, as if he would never.
Barrett would be like, for
I
1
do,
second.
like the sleeping game, where I go like, shh, and then I like wake up and scare him, and he likes that. I do that when I'm tired.
Whenever I lay down on the couch and try to rest for a sec, the twins come over and go and start smacking me. I'm like, okay. Let's
Yeah,
just
I
not do it.
feel
I think it's funny.
But I think I just had a long week and I was very tired. So I was like going through the day like a little bit of a zombie. And then I was like, I'm going to cry. I'm literally so tired. But I didn't cry. So that was nice. But yeah.
You're probably too tired. The tears couldn't come.
Literally.
Too much
And
energy.
I was like, I have to wash my car. And I was just really, really getting out there.
Was
It
that
was-
when Barrett was washing the car?
Yes, Barrett literally came over, stole the vacuum from me. And I was like, sir, I have work to do. I was like, we're professionals here. Like, you're not on the level yet. So I stole it back.
just give him a white microfiber cloth. I'm sure
I
he'd do
stole
a
it.
great
Kat,
job.
do you think he would like that over the vacuum?
That's
Oh,
true.
no.
That's true.
No, I had to be like, sorry, all
Can't
done.
compete.
Gotta go. So it was good. And then that night was a high. It was really nice. Me and my roommate, we watched a movie together that was not very good, but it was still fun. We watched When Harry Met Sally.
I was gonna say, tell us the movie.
I
It's
did not
not
like that
good.
movie.
It's just not
It's so
good.
I haven't seen
overhyped.
it.
Everyone's like, wow.
Is this Tom? Whichever one?
I did not like
No.
it.
Tom Hanks?
Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan.
Why did I think
Oh,
it
I'm
was Tom
thinking
Hanks?
of what is that?
You've Got Mail? Sleepers in Seattle.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh,
Sleepers in Seattle, I feel like it's pretty
love
good. I don't remember
all
it.
those old rom-coms.
Me
They're
too,
so good,
but this
not
one is
that
not
one.
good. I'm sorry, guys. I don't
is
know
it
if you
from?
like it. You can
90s?
fight me in the comments.
Might even be like late 80s.
89, I think.
Yeah.
But
Before
like,
all of
it
us were
just
born,
wasn't
wow.
that great. Sorry.
Was it a little like
I only
misogynistic?
watched
I feel
it
like.
a little.
I feel
Wasn't
like
a little-
that was my vague memories, like not really treating women the best way.
It wasn't. And I was just like, I'm purely
love it.
watching this for Meg Ryan right now.
Love Meg Ryan
Because I love
She's
her.
literally the
Don't
queen
know
of
her.
90s
She is my
rom-coms.
queen.
Blonde person?
Yes.
Curly hair.
She's
Oh, never
the
mind, don't know.
best. I love her so much.
You definitely know
Cool.
who she is. I should pick.
I'm thinking of a straight-haired Bob blonde.
She does straighten it sometimes,
does
but I think it's
sometimes.
curly.
This
lady?
She's an icon.
Oh yeah, I feel like Laura
I
would have
don't
no idea
know.
who that is.
maybe she's
I'm not
like
sure why she would
older
know
or
her.
like younger, whatever. 90s
What would she-
Okay.
person.
What would she be in that Lauren would know of? Nothing I can think
okay,
of.
yeah, that's what I'm talking
What have
about.
you seen her
Yeah.
in?
She's
I
in
don't
so
know
many
movies.
things.
The internet.
I watched older movies sometimes.
You Got Mail, Sleep Us in Seattle. She was in Top Gun.
She hasn't
one.
been in anything for
I haven't
so
seen
long.
that.
Oh, they show flashbacks of her in Top Gun.
Yes, and I think I watched You Got Mail.
Okay.
Oh,
was.
that one is interesting. It's cute.
Yeah,
kinda weird.
I don't really remember. Okay, my low was yesterday. I was just like working like a dog all day ain't working for me. You
Yeah, I
know?
feel that.
And it's just
Working
like,
like a dog.
yeah, that's a song.
It's what's it called?
Buy me a boat.
I can buy me a boat.
Yeah, great song. Anyway, I was just like, I don't know. I was just so tired and annoyed, and I was like, all I do is slave away for this family. And it's just like I don't know. And I was just annoyed because then all I want to do is just like go into the abyss. And I'm just like, I don't want to like go into the abyss. You know what I mean? Like, and when I say that, I mean like, I just want to lay in my bed, watch TV, and just be like, oh, I don't exist. And it's like, why? I don't want to do that. It's so annoying, even though I did want to do it. Like, I was annoyed that that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm sensing some anger in my heart because I was just so annoyed. I'm like, okay.
Really?
So that was my low, but then I turned it around as per usual. I went for a walk actually at like 8 p.m.
Walks
I was like,
cure
I'm
everything.
coming out of the abyss right now. And I went on a walk. It was good.
Lauren's like me to me.
Walks are literally
Yeah.
Get out of the
so
abyss now.
yes.
Time for a walk.
And then my high was Saturday, I think it was. Yes, that was just
That
a
was
great
so
day.
funny.
It was a great day. Okay, first off, I like had a great morning routine.
Oh,
I made
yeah.
a TikTok about
I
it.
remember that.
It was
I watched
actually a
it. That
good
was great.
TikTok.
I didn't even
wasn't that cute?
That was really good. She did a TikTok about
I
like
don't keep
Oh,
up.
probably because I was taking care of them alone. So I was like,
Yeah, I was like, how I turn my morning around after a rough night. And I did turn my morning around because I did what I...
good.
Actually, no, I didn't do all of what I said in TikTok, but I did most of it.
Liar.
Oh, I planned
She was just
to,
giving a
but
lot of good ideas.
You get what you get.
Oh.
Anyway,
That's funny.
but I did most of that. And then, like, I went to a little bonfire thing with a couple of my familia.
Oh, yeah. It
for
was
lunch.
literally just us and Alex.
And
And our
mom and
parents
dad.
for a
And
sec.
Joey came for a sec.
Yes.
And
Joey came through in his all
I
white
wanted to go.
outfit
Barrett
into
would have
the
wanted to
dirt.
go.
that was fun. And then I went to a fall festival, but it wasn't a festival. It was just a fall party that you guys didn't come to.
Yeah, both of you.
I wanted to come.
with
I couldn't.
friends.
Way too
Couldn't
dead.
muster
And it was so fun, and we danced for like an hour.
Because I DJ'd and I do well at
okay.
DJing.
Yeah, it was just a good day overall. Like, I just felt like live, laugh, love. You know?
I put on Before He Cheats.
Oh, that was so
And
fun.
it was so
Oh, it's too
funny.
good.
Lord, I could see the rage like being expressed in
Oh,
Lauren's
it's
soul
great.
for that song.
I needed that.
It was great.
thanks,
It was
Do you guys
fun.
ever listen to I Hope by Gabby Barrett? Because that is the.
No.
Oh,
I
she
hope.
cheats or something.
No, I don't hope that. I want to dug my key into the side.
Yeah.
Like, I just want
I
to
just
express
love.
that.
I don't think I've ever been cheated on, but I love I Hope.
Yeah,
It's
me
such a great
either. So
song.
I'm like, no, I'm just trying to like get out my physical aggression.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, I, hope
guess-
she cheats
yeah,
on
I
you.
guess
I'm
I
like,
hope
I
it
don't
rains.
hope that.
It's just
Janet
such
Kramer
a
like
good
that one.
melody.
On.
Yeah. So anyway,
Different types.
we all want revenge different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though we're in a happy relationship.
Yeah, I want to take a Louisville Slugger to both headlights.
Not just one, guys. Two.
I guess if I knew if I had been cheated on by someone who loved his car, maybe I'd relate.
Yeah.
But I'm
It
thinking
just feels nice
of an
to be like,
ex, and he didn't care about his
didn't
car,
have a
so it didn't really. Oh, it would be like your video game console, whatever it was.
yes. Louisville
That-
Slugger
now
to
that
your
would be
yes,
satisfying.
what one? Because that was in like 1999 or whatever.
What?
She was
1999.
Wait, me dating
PS1
was in 1999.
Christine had a boyfriend at 9.
Yikes!
Okay, Chris.
You add like 10 years.
Yeah, sorry, 2009.
Actually, it was.
Yeah.
Yikes!
So let's hear your high and
Okay,
low.
so my low
let's hear it.
is your classic breakdown. You know, your run of the mill.
I feel that.
What did it consist of? Let's hear
It's
it.
more of your classic newborn phase, which I'm getting out of right now. Breakdown, newborn with a toddler breakdown. It's just
classic.
like where I'm like,
so many times.
where I'm like, I'm never gonna be free again. And then it's like,
Yeah.
wait, I am gonna.
And
be
you're
free
like, I'm
again.
just one man.
I'm
Okay.
like, I like
trapped,
I'm like, I've
overwhelmed.
been holding her like this. Luckily, it's like this, so I gotta count my blessings. Like I've been holding her all day. I put her down for 30 minutes total the entire day, and I'm gonna try and take care of Barrett while doing this,
Oh,
whatever.
that is
And then
hard.
I'm like, it's not gonna last forever. It's gonna.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you know what? You could wear her in this, and you didn't have to physically hold her like Barrett. So I'm like, it could be so much worse. And then I actually, it could be so much worse thing actually does work in this situation when I actually know what the worst is
Because you
like.
went through
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
like,
you can
that
feel
ain't
the
that bad at all.
gratitude,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm so grateful. I'm like, I don't even care. Me back then would have like killed for this. So I'm like, you be grateful when I'm like, I am grateful now. I am. And then it totally changed my attitude.
Love
so
to
that
see
was
it.
that. And then my high is that we're really getting in like a routine with her sleep, which is a really good
That's
routine.
awesome.
It's really, I mean, it's going to change soon, but it's still good for now. I'm being grateful now.
Love gratitude.
I'm grateful because we didn't have this before. And I'm gearing up for the sleep regression to come. And I'm like, I'm going to take you on because I've gotten some nights of sleep. I'm like already mentally preparing because that was like literally the worst time of my entire, well, maybe second worst of my entire life. So she goes to bed normally at like 8, which is great. And then she wakes up at like 2,
Wow.
2:30.
Whoa.
Really
And
good.
I feed her, and then I roll her back. Not really roll her. I put her back in bassinet, and then she wakes up at like 5:30.
Wow.
Oh.
So we get like a 6-hour stretch, and then a 3-hour stretch.
Wow.
And then I feed her,
That's-
and then she sleeps for like another 2 hours. And
Do
then
you
I get
actually
up.
sleep?
I don't sleep that much, but I sleep more than I did with Barrett. So
Love to see
good.
it.
I sleep like a 4-hour or a 5-hour stretch, and then I sleep like
Okay.
2 hours maybe while she does 3. Last night it was 1 while she did 3. I could not stop thinking of stuff. I was thinking about the podcast today. I was like, oh, I could say this. I was thinking of that.
Oh my God.
So you gotta get a night notebook where you put it by your bed and you just
I'm
write
like,
the
I have so
date
many
and you
things.
write everything you're
call the
thinking
phone.
about.
I think it's
annoying.
hormonal too.
I didn't even know I was thinking about that.
Phone.
I feel like the hormones can make you like
Make you
very
more
like
awake.
restless. That happened
So
to
I
me
was just
too.
thinking about a bunch of stuff. But
postpartum.
anyway, that was like, it's so nice to know, like, we wake up here, we wake up there, and then we're done. It's like 2
Love
wake
it.
ups, or it's kind of like 1 wake up, because then it's like 5:30. That's kind of like just the morning. But I might sleep
It
for
is.
another hour then until like 6:30.
Love it.
Maybe. Probably not. Hey guys, here we are popping in to tell you that this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. So, BetterHelp is online therapy, a place you can go to get help for the many challenges of life. And we've talked about therapy for years now. We're huge proponents of therapy. We've all done therapy and had like amazing transformations, I would say, from different moments,
Yeah.
different times in therapy. And we always tell you guys, you need to go to therapy because I think everyone does. But I think a lot of people are intimidated and they're like, where do I even start? How do I find a therapist? And what if I like don't want to see them in person? You know, this is online. So I think it's great. You know, if you're like intimidated, this is the perfect place for you. And also it makes it so easy because they do a questionnaire that you fill out, which we all checked out.
It's very detailed. They ask you a lot about like what are your sort of like your lifestyle, your religious background, what are the issues that you're kind of coming to seek counseling for, so they can it's very specific to you, so they can match you with the best therapist possible and it just streamline the process, which is so great for someone who's just coming into therapy.
Yeah. And finding a therapist can be like super intimidating. I get really intimidated by it. I made Catherine find me one. So if you don't have a Catherine, this website, BetterHelp, will fix you right up. They'll be your Catherine.
And what if you're seeing your therapist and you're like, I don't really click with this person. I don't think they're helping me that much. I don't think they're the right fit. This is amazing because you can switch therapists at any time, find a new one. In real life, it's like you already found one and then real life. And then you're like, now I have to like break up with my therapist, find a new one, which I've done this many a time, by the way. It's so worth it to keep trying until you find that right person. Because I've seen a lot of therapists in life and I've seen a lot that were like, they just weren't the right fit for me and it wasn't really helping me that much. But then I cannot tell you the difference once I find that therapist that really works for me and clicks with me. Guys, it is just absolutely life-changing.
Such a difference.
Just had so many crazy transformations. I just can't recommend therapy enough.
Yeah, therapy has really, really changed my life. I started over 10 years ago and mainly for anxiety, but other, OCD things as well. And it's just made a huge transformation. I feel like I don't even know who I would be if I hadn't been in therapy all these years. It's just given me so many tools for coping that have helped me be like a calmer and more grounded person.
And we do have a deal for you guys. So if you go to BetterHelp, as in HELP.com/Cimarelli, you can learn more and get 10% off your first month. So if you want to check out that deal, BetterHelp, HELP.com/Cimarelli. It's going to be linked in the description. Check it out. You really deserve to turn your life around if you feel like it's going somewhere you don't want it to go, or to get help with whatever you need. You deserve that. You don't need to live in whatever state that is, incredible amounts of stress, whatever's going on. You don't deserve to stay in that dark place. You deserve to get out of there and get the help you need. So check out betterhelp.com/Cimarelli. Try it out, 10% off, and keep trying until you find that perfect fit for you. It's so worth it.
So now we have our 5 POVs, aka 5 perspectives. And that's where we all give our perspective on a question or a topic. And Lisa is not here, so it's 4 POVs today, but give us your POV and you can be the 5th POV, okay?
Oh, and we should mention
love
that.
it.
I said mention every time I keep forgetting that Lisa will be back. She is, I want to say caring for, but really, I guess caring for her husband through cancer treatment, which is exhausting. I mean, obviously I don't know, but I can try to imagine. Exhausting.
Yeah.
So she's going through a lot right now. Obviously, their whole family is. So she's not working. She's working a little bit, but not very much right now. So she'll be back as soon as she's able to. So keep them in your prayers.
Okay, so our question is, which Halloween candy would you eliminate, guys? Tootsie Rolls, candy corn, Smarties, or Good and Plenty?
Oh, we should say we got this from Lisa's story.
We got this from
Yeah.
Lisa's story. because we all chimed in on it from her story. And we were like, wow, that's, well,
We
by
should
we, I
try-
mean, Kath was like, wow,
We
that's a
should
great
try to get
question.
stuff from Lisa for the podcast. So it's like a little bit of Lisa in the
Yeah,
episode.
shout out to Lisa.
I
for
think that would
sponsoring
be
this
pretty
section.
easy.
So comment below which one you would take out. And let's,
All right, let's hear
our
it,
pops.
ladies.
Tootsie Rolls.
Tootsie Rolls.
Trash. I
Trash.
actually
I
like.
can't believe
that.
I
They're
like
so
the other
good.
three.
Good and Plenties are actually
great.
really
Love
good.
it.
What's
Tootsie
in them
Roll.
again?
Trash.
Good and Plenties are like
It's like
the
black
pink and
licorice.
white,
Black
black
licorice.
licorice
I like
ones.
those.
Those are good.
Wait, so what would you do?
I would do those, but it's not like I hate them.
You like Tootsie
You guys
Rolls?
like
I
Smarties?
love.
You like Tootsie Roll?
I just
Tootsie
feel like
Rolls are so
it's
good.
unnatural.
Wait, am I the
No,
only
they're
one
delicious.
who likes all four?
No, I do not like Smarties.
I'm just a
I love
candy
them.
fiend.
Okay, I love candy
Tootsie
corn.
Rolls?
I love Tootsie Rolls. Good and Plenty is neutral. Smarties is like chalk. Why
my
would
gosh,
you
I
eat
love them.
chocolate.
I love
They're
chalk.
so
Guys,
good. They're like cold almost when you eat them.
Here's the thing. I
love them.
Smarties are a close
It's a texture
second
thing.
Wait, what's
to
your...
taking out. I hate
Right,
Tootsie Rolls.
Smarties are just like
Lauren is
depression
right.
candy.
Chocolate
I
is
didn't
not meant to be
know-
weird and chewy
I
like
didn't know
that.
you. Oh my gosh, I
It's
think
not
they're
even chocolate
so
though. It's just different
good.
category. Just
No,
get it
it's
out of your
gross.
mind. that
I
it's chocolate.
die for Tootsie
Oh,
Rolls.
you know what
Love Tootsie
though?
Rolls. I could
The
eat so
ones
many.
that are not chocolate can be acceptable sometimes.
So it's a
the, like,
texture.
vanilla-
Depending on the flavor.
It's a texture thing.
No, it's a flavor thing because she said the other ones are good, but not the chocolate.
No, but she said it shouldn't be that texture.
I just think
Yeah,
that it's
it's
just
just-
weird.
Oh.
It seems
Texture things are common.
unnatural.
Yeah.
They are natural,
and I
but
also
it's
don't like
good.
the things that are super sticky in your mouth. Like, what are the ones that like
Milk duds.
Ugh.
I love
hate
milk
it.
duds.
Like they
But I
just
do feel like
make
it's
me
gonna
feel
pull my fillings out.
uncomfortable. And
I
I'm like,
do.
I don't want to get a cavity.
There's some candies I'm like, oh, I'm walking on the edge here. There's some fillings that are just kind of
Really?
teetering.
Yeah.
It's hard to eat them. It's a
I have
workout.
a lot of
Like,
fillings.
But candy corn are my one true
Oh,
love.
I love candy corn.
we all love candy corn.
Wait,
with all of
Lisa
my
said
heart.
she didn't like candy corn in her story. I'm like, what?
Because
Laura,
she
do you
says
like
it turns
it?
her veins into sugar.
I
You like
love
candy corn?
candy corn.
It's
We
so
love
good.
candy
And you
corn here.
love
hate Tootsie Rolls.
Okay. I don't
Hate is a
hate
strong
them.
word.
I'll eat them in a moment of desperation, but I would never choose to eat one
Oh
if
yeah.
I had another choice.
If I had all four of those on the table, that
One's
Off.
last.
What would you grab? Okay, what would you grab first if they're on the table right now?
candy corn.
Tootsie Rolls.
Wait, what was the options?
Candy corn, good and plenty.
Good and plenty.
But only
Smarties,
because
Tootsie Rolls.
I buy a bag of candy corn every fall and it's on my counter now, so I've been eating that like every day.
Okay.
So I'm
Honestly,
kind of sick of it.
I buy candy corn every week.
Right?
So bad.
What would you get, Laura?
Right now, I
now?
would probably have Smarties actually, because I haven't had them in a while.
Really?
Seems like a good experience.
Does anyone else get a really bad stomach ache from candy corn?
No.
Yes, you have to be careful with your consumption.
It's
of
like
it.
goes like this. Great, love
no.
it. Great, great, great.
I get more of like a
No.
sugar crush. Like, ugh.
It's
I
the
get-
same thing
it's
with
so
jelly beans.
sweet.
I get a
This is
horrible
why
stomach
I
ache.
eat them one color at a time.
She does
I
have
can't.
it down. That is how you should do it if you,
you
don't
go
want to get a
bite,
stomach
bite,
ache.
bite.
They're so
Yes,
good.
I eat them in 3 bites. I mean, sometimes I'll have like a few in one, but
If you
I
don't want
like,
to get a stomach ache, that's the way to go.
yeah, because it's too much. It's too much in your mouth at once.
I wish
Also,
like I
don't
wish I
want
could
it.
do that, but I like
You guys,
a lot of them.
the
at
best combo ever, which I learned this year because I had candy corn and I had pretzel crisps in my room. Eat them together.
That sounds really good.
And the saltiness and the crunchiness of the pretzel crisps
Sounds
it's so
great.
good with the candy corn flavor because
That
the
does
salt
sound
makes
good.
it like
Good.
Because I feel like candy
Must
corn
be
is
the
like a
flavor
honey
somehow.
white chocolate. That's
Yeah.
what it reminds me of. And
Not
I feel like that
white
would be good with
with the
pretzels.
like salt and the crunch. It gives it
Yeah.
a whole dynamic
I
that's
hate
gorgeous.
White chocolate.
Oh, I love white
It's
chocolate.
gorgeous.
Can I say one random thing? I saw a video. Yeah, okay, I get these kind of videos on my TikTok, okay, of this guy talking about like how to be more like social or something. I don't know. he was saying do's and don'ts or whatever, and he's like, if you're having small talk with someone or whatever, don't talk about the weather. Talk about food, and everyone will come away thinking you were so fun and had a great combo with you.
Wait,
Talk
that's
about
so
food.
right.
And I'm like, wow, you guys right now, you love that.
How would you
combo.
lead into it?
I don't know.
Eating
if I
anything good
like
lately?
that.
Oh, I had this great shrimp.
oh, have you been to this local restaurant before?
Oh, the bread was
Yeah.
Or
Yes,
Italians would
Kat,
come out.
yes. The
Italians
Bread was
would-
Mamma Mia.
Yes,
Just saying, I
Catherine.
thought that was interesting.
I think that
I mean, it
makes
is really
sense.
fun to talk about food.
Or I would say food or TV shows or music. In one of those three, it will hit.
I like talking about like trips, like traveling and places you've been and stuff.
Okay,
I'd have
Richie
some-
that
Rich
is-
over here.
yeah.
Parenting. It's always kids and parenting. Always.
That is always.
You're like, so do you spank
I don't
your
really
children?
know.
Do you have any kids?
I don't know. I feel like that's a
what are
minefield.
yours? Rachel?
It's a minefield for being
No,
triggered.
I'm really good at navigating like what I can say with each
I
person.
get nervous because I've definitely triggered people in the past, so I'm nervous that I'm going to trigger them. Well, I feel like
get
you literally
touchy.
just say, I chose to do this, I didn't do this, without any type of opinion, and people
People
are
get
like,
triggered. No, you're right. You're
It
right.
is such is the way of the world.
You're right.
So
All
it's
right. So
very
speaking
good.
of being triggered, let's talk about your cycle.
Let's talk
Yay.
about
For
your
some
cycle.
reason, some of these things can be really triggering, and some are not at all. Like just facts and logic.
Facts,
just
facts.
depending.
Well, it's just personal. Like, it's about
Why
your
is it
body. Your
triggering?
body is always like sensitive.
Vulnerable.
Well, it is
topic.
really like it is a sensitive topic. It comes with a lot of weight.
Quote went like that.
You know,
So we wanted to do. It's kind of like it's not exactly just things you didn't know. It's like things you didn't know, plus, or maybe it is interesting.
Depends on
things.
who you are, but most likely you didn't know these things.
Most likely you didn't know
Just
these
like a
things.
good overview.
And they're very intriguing, and you should really know them because you're walking around in this body every day. Then you should probably
know
learn
how
some
it
things.
works.
It's also really weird to me why is this not taught more? Why are women not more like taught about their cycles? It seems like a very basic biological thing, but most of my friends and I have talked about this, and it's like most of us didn't know anything until we were like in our 20s. Like you just don't know anything. You just like, oh, you have a period. That's it. Like you don't know anything about it. I feel like that's
Yeah.
pretty much more the norm.
yeah,
It
it's
is
very
shocking.
standard.
Which it's such a big part of your health that it's like we should talk about it more.
Like, yeah, the amount of once I started trying to conceive, and I with 2020, and I started reading like what's it called, this fertility book that I love.
taking charge of your fertility.
I learned a bunch more about your cycle. I was pretty shocked how much I didn't know, and then when I started talking to everyone I could possibly talk
Every
to about it,
day.
Everyone.
I was shocked at how much women way older than me and then younger than me, of course, did not have
Yeah.
a clue. It was pretty shocking. So let's jump into this. Your cycle. What is your cycle?
What is it?
I just feel like that's like my teacher, like my
Putting your teacher hat on.
50-year-old, 60-year-old teacher voice, which got to be pretty old. Yeah.
Love to see it.
Yeah. Also, guys, this is literally a day in the life. Christina
Oh my
being like,
gosh.
let me tell you this thing. And we're like,
I'm like, drop the class.
I tell anyone who will listen about their about women's reproductive health.
look,
really is what
I
it is.
love to hear it. I gotta know.
I tell every babysitter I talk to, it comes up. I'm like, so did you know this? And they're always interested. I have to say, they're always interested. They always want to know more. I've never had one be like, clear. I can tell when they're really uncomfortable. So I can tell if someone's uncomfortable. Okay, I can read the room.
You do.
I'll be like, okay, backing off.
Not with me though.
Not with
So,
Amy.
you want to?
But
What should you do
that's okay.
first? You want to do the first?
Let's do the overview of the phases.
Yeah. So I want to make a
That's a
quick
good
note
one.
that none of us are doctors and we're not giving medical advice. But
In case you really thought we
but
were.
all of our everything we're sharing is sound scientific stuff that was peer reviewed by doctors. So,
Unless we say otherwise. Some minds
so
not.
all of this comes from science. Just so you know.
Yes.
Okay. And I have all the
Yes.
sources, so we might include those.
Yes,
But-
if you care about those.
Yeah, we have a lot of sources if you guys want to learn more.
Let's start with the overview of the 4 phases, and then we're going to get into some really interesting. Let me just give an overview of what we're going to do so people get an idea. So we're going to talk about like what's really going on, because you probably actually don't really know what's going on. And then we're going to talk about some of our experiences. We're going to talk about, I'm going to touch a little bit on birth control. We're going to talk about some common conditions to look into that maybe you might experience some of these things. And then that's pretty much it. So
Yeah.
let's get into it.
All right.
What are the 4
So there's
phases?
4 phases in the menstrual cycle. Phase 1 is the menstrual phase. The first day of bleeding, this is from Mind Body Green. The first day of bleeding is considered day 1 of your menstrual cycle. On this day,
Wait, Kevin's
or
your mom
on
talking to
this
you
today-
when you're in, I don't know what age.
Oh man, I hope I get a daughter one day. I got so much to share.
She's your mom telling you
Honestly,
right
you
now.
should teach your sons too.
I should.
This is what women go
my husband
through.
actually
Barrett's
do
gonna
a lot
know.
because his mom's a nurse practitioner and she loves to share a lot about women's health with him.
They
They
should
actually do a
know.
lot.
Barrett's going to know so much.
Okay, so the first day of your cycle, the hormone progesterone plunges, which causes the uterine lining to shed, aka your period, Aunt Flo. Sorry. Mother Nature, the red devil, as Lisa calls her. Okay, so symptoms of this is during this week, your energy is at its lowest. In your cycle, you may feel tired and withdrawn. You may want to rest more than usual or even take a day off.
But wait, let's stop about and say, what is uterine lining? And people are like, what the heck is that? Everyone knows you got a uterus, right? It's got a lining in there, and it's got a shed, and then it's
like
gonna
a snake.
regrow, shed and regrow. Yes, basically.
Like
I mean, that's
how
close.
animals shed skin.
That's close.
Yeah, and
kind of
something
thing.
that I didn't really think about until I was older is like, that's a lot on your body. That's a taxing
You're shedding the
process.
lining.
And I feel like I would always just kind of ignore my body and be like, okay, stop doing that. And just try to power through my days. Stop doing that. And as I've gotten older, I've tried to tune in more and be I am genuinely so tired. It's the first day of my period, maybe even the
As
second.
you should be.
And it's like, I'm just going to
okay.
chill. Like,
Good for you.
get in
Love
touch with the fact that your body is doing a lot. And it's okay to just like, don't like put off the chores, put off anything you need to do as much as you can and just chill. Because
Also,
it's a lot.
why is it shedding that lining? Because you're not preg. So if you get pregnant, the egg will implant into the lining and be like,
Yes.
all right, time to, okay, her, for instance, and all of us, the egg implants and it goes, time to grow. Let's stay in this nice lining and let's keep growing.
And if you're me and
Grow,
you have
grow,
identical
grow.
twins, the egg goes bling and splits in half, and then you have 2 children.
And it stays in that lining, right? It's implanted in that lining.
Oh yeah.
Now, if it
okay.
doesn't, so that egg didn't didn't implant. And then it's like, all right, well, we got to shed all this.
to go.
We don't have to hold this here for 9 months. It's going to shed
So it burns the house
instead.
down.
So I didn't shed it until later, way later. after.
Okay.
So it had to shed. Get it? That's why.
Get it?
Maybe
that's
we
why.
could,
But
since
yeah.
this is the menstrual phase, like maybe we could talk about like anyone have any experiences or anything they want to
Well-
share about theirs or.
No.
I think we should just go
Absolutely
through.
not.
Go through
Go
all
to the
of them?
overview and then we'll go through.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
go through overview and then
Okay.
kind of see what.
So
we
what
missed.
happens after that? Oh, I think that's the one thing we know. We're like, oh, we're bleeding. We know what's going on. But then after that, we're
Do
like,
we know?
what's going on after that? For the next.
People don't, yeah, because it's a whole
For the next few weeks,
long
what's happening?
phase.
So the next one is the phase 2 is the follicular phase. This phase follows just after menstruation. It's called the follicular phase because your pituitary gland releases a hormone called follicle stimulating hormone, aka FSH.
I didn't know that.
Which stimulates the follicles in your ovaries to mature. FYI, these follicles contain your eggs.
So guys, it's what do you think it's doing there? It's getting, what does that mean? It's getting a follicle to mature. What does that mean? The egg getting ready to take a trip down to the
I
lining.
heard this on the
right?
Kardashians.
Taking
They're
a
like,
trip.
you have a good follicle.
Yes. You get it? It's like, let's get this egg ready to be shipped out to the uterus.
I
love it.
The lining.
And in terms of what your hormones are doing, it says estrogen, that's hard to say, estrogen and testosterone start to rise. Yes, women have testosterone during this phase.
Great time.
This will bring you a boost of energy and it can improve your mood. Yeah.
It does.
This is a
We love
time when you
it.
may feel a wide variety of feelings related to self-sufficiency. Yeah. Love it. Because that period time is just a sensitive time. I cry a lot. Okay. The next one is the ovulatory phase, phase 3. Ovulation is the culmination of all the hard work your body has been doing over the last couple of weeks.
Oh, cute.
This is a major key.
An egg gets released from its follicle in your ovary and will survive for 12 to 24 hours. So really, that period, if you're trying to conceive, which we've both been through that journey, you're only fertile in the period of time like when that egg is alive, that's when it can happen. Like it's not every single day of the month. It's around, I can't remember the exact number, but it's like
think it's
5
like
days
5 to
before and a couple days after.
Yeah.
Depending on how long, because it's kind of a sticky thing, but it's like if you're taking like an LH test, which is a luteinizing hormone, once you have a positive on that doesn't mean that the egg has already been released. It means that like that
You're losing
rises, and then within a period of maybe 24 hours later, even up to 48 hours later, your body releases an egg. So it's interesting. It all kind of goes together. And then in terms of what your hormones are doing at that
a lot
time,
of details.
estrogen and testosterone rise to peak levels, boosting the effects of the follicular phase. You may feel that you look better and feel more confident, so it will be easier to verbalize your thoughts and feelings.
Love it.
And everyone's cycle is different, but the average cycle is 28 days. And so this happens about halfway through your cycle. So if you have a 28-day cycle, it's around day 14 that you will, so day 1 is the first day of your period. Day 14 is around when you would release the egg, roughly.
So for a lot of people that doesn't happen. It can be like a lot later, or they might have like months. That's a different situation.
Yeah.
Or like 50 days. This happened to me when I was trying to conceive her actually that year. It was like my periods were lasting a really long time. Well, the cycle was lasting a really long time. And that basically, the two things we just mentioned, the follicular phase right before ovulation and then the bleeding that whole time, that part before ovulation can go on for a long time because your body's like trying to ovulate. So basically, what she said, all these hormones, right? It's like the symphony of hormones. This one's going up. This one's going down. Now this one's going down. This one's going up. And this one's slowly rising. This one's plummeting. All these things are happening. That's why think about as a woman, we're going through all these wild changes with these hormones all the time. If you look at a graph of it, it looks pretty wild. All the things that are happening, like each different day of the week, it's like different levels, right? So all these things have to happen to get that egg to release. The specific things have to happen. If they don't happen, now why would they not happen? If some other thing comes in and disrupts them, such as possibly stress hormones is one option, those can disrupt it, and your body's like, now we can't get that perfect symphony in place to drop that egg, right?
Yeah, and that's interesting story about that, actually. When I was in my trying to conceive phase, I spoke with my, Max and I did natural family planning, which basically teaches you all about like the natural signs of a woman's fertility. So mainly like cervical mucus and basal body temperature. There's a lot of different things you can do that kind of
Amy
show
hates
you.
that word.
It's just
CM?
whatever.
Oh, I'm not going to say it again. I already
Cervical
said it.
fluid.
Yeah, that's better.
You can say
I think
cervical
that's
fluid.
grosser. But anyway, that stuff, CM as some people call it. And then your basal body temperature. Your body has a lot of natural signs of fertility. So funny story about what she mentioned about the stress thing. My body was showing me all the signs that it was about to ovulate and like everything was going in that direction. And then something very, very stressful happened. It was like right around the day that I was expecting my body to ovulate. And I watched all the signs just like stopped. It just like completely done. And then I think it was like 8 or 10 days later, then my body was like showing it again and then it did it. And my teacher told me, they're like, oh yeah, that's actually like can happen. If your body is like trying to ovulate and you get really, really stressed, basically like reproduction is like the opposite of, it's like, if your body's in fight or flight, you can't really reproduce. You have to be like in a restful state. So
Because your body's going, we are stressed right now. We need to allocate all of our resources to the most important things like running away, being alert, all these different things like that, not getting pregnant. This is a time of danger. This is not a safe time to get pregnant. So that's what happened to me that year. My period, the whole cycle was like late 30 days, 40 something days, like multiple times that year. I was very, very high stress. It was a lot going on. I was sleep deprived. I was just having a really rough time. That was when Kath and Lise both went on maternity leave at the same time. There's a lot going on at once. I was so stressed. So my body kept trying to ovulate and then not ovulate. So your body will continue to try. So it tries, the stress happens, it can't do it. So we'll try again, like a week later for me. Same what she was saying. And it couldn't again. So then we'll try again. And then it will finally actually ovulate. And then once it actually ovulates, once that egg actually comes down, then the next part, which you can get to.
And also, I just want to make a quick note that there are also other reasons that your body might not ovulate properly. And we're going to get into some of those later on in the episode. Okay. So phase 4 is the luteal phase. Is the final phase of the woman's cycle. The first 2 to 3 days of this phase will feel a lot like the ovulatory phase. That changes when estrogen and progesterone decline and your body starts producing progesterone. I don't know why they didn't really explain what that phase is. Maybe I should pull up my other source for that one because I feel like that didn't explain the science of it. That was just more talking about the hormones.
I can say one thing that we said before, which is what's happening there is either that egg is being fertilized or not being fertilized and implanting or not implanting. And then you are either pregnant or not pregnant. And then you're either about to shed the lining or about to start growing the baby.
So your body's trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. It's like, all right, what messages are about to be sent?
It's like, are we
Here's the
pregnant or
other,
not?
this is a Healthline article that I found about it. Luteal phase. In this phase, the follicle that releases the egg produces hormones that thicken and ripen the uterus to ready it for pregnancy. Each woman's menstrual cycle is unique. The length of each cycle and its phases can vary. I think that's pretty much it. If you're trying to get pregnant, it can help to know whether your follicular and luteal phases are long or short and when in your menstrual cycle they happen. So yeah, basically the way I think of it is like, yeah, kind of what you said, like your body releases the egg and then the luteal phase is like that kind of critical time when you're trying to conceive. People call it the 2-week wait. You're waiting to see like, did the egg take? Did it like properly implant so there's actually like a viable like baby in there? Or was it like, and this is not the time, and then it just didn't do anything?
Because that's the interesting part, that as soon as you have ovulated, release that egg, you're going to get your period or be pregnant. And if you're gonna get your period, it's gonna happen within about 14 days. That one can't go on forever. Like the other one can go on for a long time. That one doesn't. As soon as it's out, it's like, all right, you have like 14, 16 days around then, and then it's like gonna shed the lining.
Or shorter. Some people it's shorter than
Or
that.
you're gonna be pregnant.
Yeah,
It can have a really short luteal
but it's not gonna be
phase.
like months. As far as I'm aware, I've never seen anything say it could be months. The first one can go for months.
It's usually the first part that's
Because your
long,
body keeps
elongated.
trying to.
Yeah, your body could not be able to ovulate for a long time. I mean, it could be,
It's interesting.
I think, years.
Like I had a friend who
People can lose their periods for years.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
I had a friend that struggled with infertility, and she had a period. She was ovulating, so they couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then they found out that she had this condition. I can't remember what it was called, but it was where the egg got stuck somehow. Like it didn't fully like leave. So there's different things that can happen where it's like your body's not
Weird.
properly, or it went in itself instead of like going out. I can't remember.
Interesting.
I think it was called like lufts or
Something kind of rare.
Yeah.
That's
So,
really interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
So we were going to say our experience with each week. We're saying, do you notice if you have like a general, like regular period of like week to week, have you noticed feeling different in all of these phases?
Yes.
Me too.
Oh my gosh.
I have to.
Yes. Okay, so week 1, it's like period week, horrible, hate it, bad.
Do it.
Well, no, not really. It's just like the first couple days for me are bad, and then I'm like, oh, and then I start feeling good, and I'm just on a climb. Life's climb, but the view's great, you know? And I'm just like, wow, I have so much energy. I am such a great person. I love my life and myself. Yay. But then this doesn't happen every month, but some months during that ovulation time, I literally feel like the dark side of the moon or something. Like, I don't know what that means actually, but like a werewolf on a full moon. Like, I feel crazy. Like, I feel
I
more
relate to this.
crazy. Like, the hormones at that time make me feel more crazy than like the PMS hormones. I feel like
I totally relate.
buzzing with
Like,
energy
restless?
and like,
Have you ever just gone on a run? Because I've done that
Yes.
at night, not like late, but I've been like, and
Yes,
just gone on a run
I'm
and
like-
listened to music and being like, during like ovulation
yes.
every
and
time.
I asked my therapist, I was
It
like,
makes me feel crazy.
could
too.
I be
A werewolf?
bipolar? Because I feel like I have
I
manic
feel like I thought
episodes.
the
And she was like, girl, you're not bipolar. I was like, okay. She's like, do you know about the phases of your cycle? Though? And I was like, I don't.
She is
and
me.
then she knew that I just felt manic because I was ovulating. I
That's
was
so
like, wow,
interesting.
thanks,
I
girl.
wonder if it's
Thanks for the heads up.
I wonder what it is.
So
worse
not
for
every
energy.
month does that happen, but I do feel I'm more confident. I feel
Yeah.
better about myself. Like my clothes look better, my skin's better. I'm just like happier overall. Energy. And then it just all crashes down. And then
that the
I'm just
worst
like,
week?
oh, I'm so tired and sad. I'm so ugly. And well, not necessarily every time. I'm
so tired, I'm so
ugly. So like the extreme weeks. So it's like every month is not necessarily this extreme, but usually there's at least some level of that.
Oh, Laura, I just looked it up for that time. Estrogen's climbing,
Yes.
like what you're saying. And it says estrogen acts everywhere in the body, including the parts of the brain that control emotion. Some of estrogen's effects include increasing serotonin and the number of serotonin receptors in the brain, modifying the production and the effects of endorphins, the feel-good chemicals in the brain.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
So yeah, then I'm just sad and then I cry at random
Then it
things.
plummets.
Then
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
feel that.
what? And that's when progesterone rises, which makes you tired.
It's the calm hormone.
So
It's like,
annoying. I don't feel calm though. I just want to eat everything and cry in my bed. And then that's how I feel until I get my period again. Then it all starts over.
eat everything and cry in my bed.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Mine's basically the same as what Lauren said.
Yeah, I feel like mine is, I just feel like very, very sensitive in the PMS kind of the end luteal phase. It's like, I definitely get really mad and like sad. And I kind of get this feeling that like everyone hates me and I'm alone. I'm like, I'm never going to be loved. And Max is like, what? And I'm like, I don't have any true friends. He's like, yeah, you do. I'm like, no, I don't. I feel like I just get, and then my period comes like a day later and I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense.
You know who gets the most mad? Lisa.
So scary. Yeah, she does.
I don't think she'd be offended by that,
show it
right,
as
Lisa?
much, except for to Max. I'm just like, but on the inside, I'm like, what
always-
did you mean by that?
I can always tell because Lisa gets really mad.
Yeah.
I'm like,
He gets like irritable.
She's like, just like me when I was pregnant with Barrett in the beginning. I was really angry.
Yeah, I just feel like I've definitely noticed throughout mine, like how there's certain times where you try on your clothes and you're like, everything looks so bad.
Yes.
Why does everything
that's
look
what
so bad? Like you haven't gained weight or anything. You're just like,
It's like,
it
why
looks
does
bad.
Everything looked bad on me.
Or sometimes you're like, oh, I actually look pretty good. Nice. So I think that confidence, it's like, it's not very subjective. It's like, it goes up and down
Kinda feels
with
like
your hormones.
I'll never, like, clothes will never look good again.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, wait, they do look good again.
And then those
Thank
days you
goodness.
start to say, I'm more than a body. I'm a human being.
But it's nice to know the hormonal aspect of it because then you can be like, okay.
Yeah, it
there's
makes
a
you
reason.
feel better.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
Makes you feel like
I-
less
yeah.
crazy, less on a roller coaster.
I'm like, okay, I don't have no friends. I'm not alone and hopeless. It's
wait,
okay.
do you want to say why you don't really want to talk about it? Like, so everyone's not
I
like,
just don't like
you
talking
silenced-
about this kind of stuff.
So I don't think we silenced you.
I said that in the beginning, guys. I just don't like talking about this kind of stuff because I feel awkward.
But you
I'm
don't
a very
mind us.
private man.
But do you mind us doing the topic?
No, I don't care. I think it's informative. I'm just listening.
You just don't want to. Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine.
We love
is.
boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just don't feel the need to share information sometimes.
Yeah. Don't have to.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you don't. That's
I
good.
love
Yeah.
to see it.
We love.
Do you want
we love to hear it.
Conditions or
Yeah. There's not really much to say about this, but we're just gonna
Ooh,
say
this is something that interests me as someone that is,
conditions.
yes, as someone that is always hyper, focused on things that could be wrong.
Oh,
This is
Yeah.
a good thing to know to like be like, if you have some of these signs or something, to
Yeah.
like try to get it checked or something.
so there's like definitely more than these, but these are two of the most common ones you hear of are PCOS and endometriosis. None of us have
that we
either
know
of these
of.
that we know of, or none of us
Yeah.
have had like anything severe enough for us to like look into these two.
It is interesting though because I know with endometriosis, I've now heard of several people that I've talked to that have no asymptomatic and a
silent
very severe
endometriosis?
case of it when they this thing with we'll
When
go
trying
into
to
that
conceive,
one.
right? That's when they
We
found
wanted
it?
to raise awareness about these two conditions because a lot of women have them and don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're finding out, and then it's very empowering to know like these are the signs to look for. If any of these sound like you should see your doctor and see
wanna read a
what's
list?
going on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
let's hear it.
PCOS. Oh, one of my great friends, actually a couple of my close friends have this, and it's just like it's a rough one. Okay, so PCOS. This is from Healthline. It stands for polycystic ovary syndrome, and it's a condition that affects women's hormone levels. Women with PCOS produce higher than normal amounts of male hormones. This hormone imbalance causes their body to skip menstrual periods. This says it makes it harder to get pregnant. I know for a fact that's not always true. I have one friend that had no problem getting pregnant and has PCOS, so I don't think that's always true.
Sometimes
it
very
can.
true, sometimes not at all.
Yeah, PCOS can cause hair growth on the face and body and baldness.
I have chin hairs.
I do too. I have a
don't
couple.
think-
Maybe we have PCOS. It can contribute to long-term health problems like diabetes and heart disease. So some of the symptoms of PCOS, irregular periods, a lack of ovulation prevents the uterine lining from shedding every month. Some women with PCOS get fewer than 8 periods a year or none at all.
So their body keeps trying to ovulate basically, but the hormones are not doing that perfect symphony that you need. We mentioned before, as she's saying.
Yeah.
So then it's like keeps trying. That's why it goes so long, and finally ovulates way later.
Another sign is heavy bleeding. The uterine lining builds up for a longer period of time, so the periods you do get can be heavier than normal.
Yeah.
Hair growth, more than 70% of women with this condition grow hair on their face and body, including on their back, belly, and chest. Excess hair growth is called hirsutism. That's how you say it. Acne, male hormones can make the skin oilier than usual and cause breakouts on areas like the face, chest, and the upper back. Weight gain, hair thinning and baldness, and darkening of the skin. So in areas like the neck, groin, and under the breasts, and then headaches. So those are some of the symptoms of PCOS. So if any of those sound like you, it's really good just to get checked out and see if you have it or not, so you can kind of start to, treat that and try to find the root causes of everything.
And if you are seeing a doctor and they like totally dismiss you, find another one.
Yeah. Because a lot of women tell their stories and like they tell their stories about having to go to a lot of different doctors.
It's really messed
to
up.
find one that will like help them.
I will say I have a few friends that struggle with both of these conditions we're mentioning. And I have two friends in particular that I've really heard them walk through their stories of like infertility and dealing with these conditions. And I know that both of them, when they saw like regular OBs, didn't really get a lot of help or guidance, but they saw a certain type of doctor called a NAPRO doctor, which stands for Natural Procreative Technology, which those types of doctors specialize in women's health, and they try to help you get to the root cause of what's causing these issues instead of masking them. So the next cause we want to highlight is endometriosis, which is also very common. Endometriosis is a disorder in which tissue similar to the lining of your uterus grows outside of your uterine cavity. The lining of your uterus is called the endometrium. Endometriosis occurs when endometrial-like tissues grow on your ovaries, bowel, and tissues lining your pelvis. Symptoms of this are painful periods, cramps 1 or 2 weeks around menstruation. So I think it's like even before. I remember reading that you have your period, you get cramps. Heavy menstrual bleeding or bleeding between periods, infertility, pain during intercourse, discomfort with bowel movements, lower back pain that may occur at any time during your period. So those are some of the signs of endometriosis. That can be an absolutely debilitating condition. We've heard some really, really sad stories from some of our friends who've had it. It can be like just really, really, really scary.
So if you are experiencing like a lot of pain and things are really difficult, don't let a doctor just write you off and be like, oh no, it's normal. Don't let that happen. See another doctor, keep seeing them, look online, figure out something, do your own research and bring it to maybe you have to convince your doctor. I don't know. That's kind of messed up. Sometimes people do have to do that. They have to convince their doctor, but you have to be your own advocate. I mean, doctors are seeing a lot of people. Maybe they're having a really tired day. Maybe something just slipped their mind. You got to be your own advocate and you got to really push sometimes because you do not deserve to just live in debilitating pain all the time.
Yeah,
it's not right. I've heard some really
It's common, but it's not
stories.
normal. You shouldn't have to live with your period literally knocking you out. Like I have several friends that have had that experience, and it's like that just shouldn't have to be your norm. And there are people out there that are working to find solutions that get to the root of things rather than just masking symptoms.
So then I'll touch really quick on birth control. I don't have that much say in it, but I just am more wanting to say something that will hopefully pique your interest so you will do your own research, look into things. So I want to say that I've been talking to a lot of women about this lately. A lot of women don't know how birth control that they're taking works. There's lots of different types of birth control, lots of different things. Things can be implanted, inserted, taking different pills, different types, and different things are hormonal, some are not. But the point is a lot of women don't know how they work. And they're taking these things all the time, or they have them, and they don't know what's going on in their body. And something that really worries me is that a lot of women are taking hormonal birth control, but they don't know the levels of their hormones prior to them. So I'll tell you why this really worries me for one reason specifically. So I learned about like blood clotting stuff a lot in my first pregnancy because I was possibly at least misdiagnosed with like a more severe than it actually was blood clotting disorder. And I had to do like a shot for blood thinning and all this stuff. But so I learned about how hormones affect blood clotting, and having certain like higher levels of certain things will affect clots forming, which can be deadly, by the way. It's a very serious thing. And if you take certain types of birth control, when you have that issue, your body could form a deadly clot, but you didn't know that because you weren't tested to see like if you have these conditions or these levels of certain things.
Doesn't it seem like doctors should test people for clotting disorders before giving them birth control?
I would think yes, but no.
I don't think I've ever heard of that happening from any friends. Maybe it does happen regularly, but
yeah, I haven't.
If something increases your risk.
I think
for
I've heard
clots.
of one person told me they did. Yeah, it's scary. It's a scary thought. So I know one friend, like she said, she was telling me about her friend who was on birth control and it was causing her these debilitating migraines. And she had no idea that she already had, I think it was she had high estrogen and then she was taking estrogen. And once they actually test her hormones, which apparently it sounded like it was kind of a fight to even get them to test her hormones, which I'm like, why do we, for women's healthcare, just really messed up. Like, why do we have to fight to get these things like paid attention to and tested, whatever? So I just want to say, look into what you're doing and see what's actually happening. And then possibly, consider like it'll be hard. You have to go on that journey, but getting your hormones tested and seeing like what's really going on. Like if you have a lot of period problems and then birth control like really helped that would suggest possibly, hormones are out of whack in some ways. And that could suggest even other health. This is what scares me. If you have another health condition that you don't know, it's undiagnosed and it's affecting your hormones, it's affecting your body. And that's causing like period problems, for instance. And then you take birth control and then it goes away because you're not getting your period anymore. You don't know what's actually wrong in your body. And it's just like laying there dormant, like still happening. Something's still off. You still have a hormonal issue or something going on and you don't know it because you're masking it. That's just something I worry about. And I know that a lot of women are like, I had these horrible debilitating periods and then I took birth control and it changed my life. It made my life so much better, which I'm not saying that didn't happen. I totally am acknowledging your experience. I totally get that. That's great that you feel better, but do you wonder what's going on? Like, what's actually wrong? Why didn't they test and see, like, are my levels really out of whack? Was that causing these issues? That's what I'm wondering. Like, that's what I'm gonna say. I want to say that. I just want to say, look, keep doing this. I'm like, because it's so, people get really mad about this.
But
it's very
really,
controversial.
it is controversial, but we're just trying to empower you guys to take charge of your own health and
That's all I'm
not just
saying.
accept a solution that's not really a solution. If you have in your gut that you feel like there's something deeper going on, there are resources out there to look into that further. And a NAPRO doctor is a great place to start. They have them all over the country if you're in the US. I think they have in other countries as well. I'm sure they do. So check that out. Look into that if that's something that you're interested in. So going into about like how sometimes things that are deeper can be masked if you don't really know what's going on. Here's some examples. These are some different health things that what could be going on deeper than what the symptom could be saying. Fatigue. So fatigue could be a sign that you might have low iron levels, anemia, or possibly a thyroid or hormonal disorder. Cramping is normal, but if it's extremely painful, that could be a sign that you might have endometriosis or uterine fibroids, which is something that I actually have. I don't have endometriosis, but I have uterine
It'd be
fibroids.
interesting if you had that issue, you went on birth control, never actually found out if you had endometriosis, then you're later in life, you're married, you're trying to get pregnant, and you go like a long time trying to figure out what the heck's going on, and you could have been diagnosed earlier and avoided a lot of pain if your doctor had been like, let's look into why this is happening rather than, hey, I have this like solution right now you can just take and it will go away, instead of being like, wait, let's figure out why. Just saying.
And also if your period, if your period just disappears and it's not really happening, that's definitely something to look into. Some of the things that they mentioned that could be causing that can be high levels of stress or extreme weight loss. And the last thing I was going to share was how your basal body temperature. So that means when you first wake up in the morning and take your temperature before getting out of bed or moving or anything, that's like your basically like base temperature.
Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about tracking, but I feel like it's too long.
Yeah, but that's basically what it is. It's just your temperature rises and falls throughout your cycle, and that can tell you different things about your fertility.
That's a really cool thing I didn't know, is that in the first half, it's like lower, and then as soon as you ovulate, when the egg comes out, your temperature will rise, assuming everything's going great. And you can like track that and see what's going on. I had no idea. You're like warmer for half and then cooler for the other half. I didn't know that. I thought that was cool. And that can tell you about your health. Can tell you about, for instance, I think you're like, if you have low progesterone, you can have lower temperatures.
Yeah.
So you could see, hey, my temperatures are lower, and you can go in and get your progesterone tested and figure out, oh my gosh, I have a problem with low progesterone.
Yeah.
What could be causing this? And then you can figure out what's the cause of that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I would definitely look into, just search basal body temperature. It's a really interesting thing. And if you have consistently low temperatures, that can be a possible sign of a thyroid problem. So that's something that I found a bunch of articles about that you can look into. And the last thing is cycle length and fertility. So there's been some studies in the Annals of Epidemiology journal that said that they did a big study with 2,100 women. The study found that women who had cycles of 26 days or fewer had a reduced chance of becoming pregnant. So it's just interesting. Like, I'm just sharing that to say, like, so many things about the length of your cycle, your temperature, these different symptoms can tell you a lot about your health. And it's really good to inform yourself and know so you can empower yourself to like take charge of your health, because it really is like a big marker of health, how your cycle is doing.
So something you could do right now, assuming you're getting a period and you're not on birth control, because that is different if you're on birth control, that doesn't apply for tracking your cycle, because look into what actually happens with your birth control. You'll see what I'm talking about. But something we suggest is getting an app, like a period tracking app, and it lets you track your temperature. You need to look at how to do it right. Also, your cervical fluid, which I was just shocked. I saw this like TikTok that's like, okay, so some people just call it discharge, but it's cervical fluid. I saw this TikTok and this girl's like, I forgot what she said, but she had no idea.
Yeast infections for 2 years. I've heard people say that.
All sorts of stuff. Yeah, people don't know because we didn't mention this.
I feel bad for
that with all the hormones going on and changing, your cervical fluid changes with the hormones. So, and it will
will tell you different things about your fertility.
Yes,
interesting.
There's a certain type that's fertile, and the rest of it is not. A certain type, it changes to a certain consistency when you're about to ovulate, because it's like trying to help you get pregnant. So you'll have a very specific type, and it will change in amount and like look, texture, consistency. It will all change throughout the month. So it doesn't mean you're getting a bunch of infections normally. You could be, but that does not what the changing can always mean. It already changes with the hormones. So that's the thing I wanted to mention, because some people, they're saying they had no idea that it just changes all the time. So when you get the app, it tells you to like say what type you're having that day. It's like, does it look like this? Does it feel like this? Is it this consistency? Is there a lot? Is there a little? And you track that as well. And that can tell you stuff as well.
And if that's the thing that interests you, just look into fertility awareness methods. The one that I was trained in is symptothermal method. And it's just really good, a lot of biomarkers about what your fertility is doing and what your body's doing. Really, really good informative stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to be trying to get pregnant to do this. It just teaches you about your cycle. That's all it does.
Good to know about your health overall.
So we could talk about this for years, which I will be talking about this till I die. But we're gonna stop. And we're gonna move on to Sister Spotlight. So each week in the Simrally podcast, we put the spotlight on a different sister. We have Get Real with Christina, Sappy or Sassy Thoughts with Kath, Lisa's Corner, Amy's Current Crisis, and Lauren's Take. And this week, the spotlight goes on Amy's Current Crisis.
Hello.
Amy's like, my current crisis was sitting through this right now.
Yes, it
What
was.
was your current crisis?
That was a current crisis for sure.
You made it through.
So I'm going to tell a bit of a story. It wasn't a crisis. It was just an interesting thing that happened to me. Okay. So let me set the scene. I was in church. It was the morning. I was chilling in Cedar Rapids. Not really. You know what I mean? I was just chilling, worshiping the Lord, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Anywho, I looked down at my foot. And what is on my foot but a saint medal? Like, if you know how they have the little, like, medals that have different saints on them? And I was shook because I pick it up and it's this random thing that I've never seen. I don't know who this person is. I don't know why it's on my foot.
Landed on your foot?
I didn't feel it land on my foot either.
Was it on your
Top of your foot.
No, it was on top of my foot, my skin. I was wearing sandals.
That's
And
weird.
I didn't feel it or anything. It just was there face down.
That's crazy.
Like, I had no clue
Wait, what
why.
saint was it?
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of the point of the story because it's kind of funny. Anyway, so I literally looked down and I'm like, wait. First of all, I didn't feel anything land on my foot. I didn't hear anything land on my foot. It landed on my skin, not a shoe. Like, I had no clue why or what happened. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. So I pick it up and I'm like, okay, what is this? Interesting. Also, it wasn't like the little jump ring had broken or anything. It was still fully attached, I think. Or maybe it didn't have, I don't remember. Maybe it didn't have one. Maybe I had to put one on. Whatever. However the reason happened, I literally pick it up and I was like, what the heck? So I started asking people around me. I was like, oh, did anybody lose this? And none of the people I asked were like, yeah, that's mine. So I was like, I guess
That's
mine
so
now.
weird.
I was so confused though, because this was also in like a 150-year-old church, you know? Things happen in 150-year-old churches, I feel like, you know? They're a little spooky,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
There's a lot of vibes that go on. So
Yeah.
I was spooked though, because I was like, what's going on? So then I get home and I start Googling, guys. I'm like, saint with red headscarf, saint red hairpiece, and nothing is coming up. Nothing is coming up. And it's this picture of this girl and she has like a red headscarf on. I'm like, what is going on? Why is this?
There's no name on it?
No, it's just a literal picture of her.
Oh my
And on
god.
the metal. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. And I couldn't find it by like Googling because it wasn't working. So I was like, I texted one of my friends who I asked one of my friends who was there and she's like, I really have no clue, but probably this other girl knows. She like loves the saints and stuff. So I was like, cool, I'll text her. So I text her. She knew exactly who it was. I sent her a picture. She's like, oh, this is Saint Dipna. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Like, I wonder what her thing is because there's like patron saints. She's the patron saint of mental illness. God gave me a medal of the patron saint of mental illness on my foot randomly, and I will never know why. But I just
Never know why.
I don't know. I don't know, guys. Is God trying to tell me something? I don't know. But I
We all
kept it and I was
struggle
like,
here.
okay, if this is something I'm gonna, need for something, who knows? So I have
Maybe
it on
God's
a
just saying, I want you
necklace.
to invest in your mental health.
It was
Yeah, that
just
sounds
so
right.
strange, guys. I saw it and I was like, why is God trying to tell me I'm mentally ill?
Then you have a panic?
Yeah, I did a panic a little bit before. I was like, and then I was like, I have panicked a lot in this church when I'm supposed to be listening. Who knows what God was trying to say? I'll have to ask
I mean,
him
mental
somehow.
illness, depression, anxiety, OCD,
happens.
I feel like mental illness, people think it means like, I don't know, something that it doesn't mean, but those are
Yeah,
mental
depression,
illnesses
anxiety.
that we all
got them.
deal with.
So yeah, that is
Just saying.
the time that God maybe told me I was mentally ill. Who knows? But yeah, that was a very.
He said
strange
invest in
day.
your mental health.
He said invest in my mental health. That's what God said to
lesson.
me.
It's a good lesson. Well, Amy, thank you for that. Guys, you got to join us next week because I'm really excited for this episode. The parenting things one. We're going to do. We already know. We already know that it has to be 2 parts because these are such like hot
These
button
people are
topics.
gonna go on and on.
And I'm so interested in them. It's just going to be really interesting. It's going to be very intriguing. And I really want to do this later with Lisa. Like I want her to answer all
a
of them. And
reprise.
maybe we do one episode where she answered all of them and we tell her what our answers were. And just like we just state them. We don't talk as long as we will in the next one. I already
would
know.
be funny.
So the next 2 episodes are going to be the part 1 and 2 of the parenting thing. It was on TikTok, right?
Yes.
Parenting
It was like
rules
a TikTok.
Yeah,
are
basically.
parenting rules for teens. I think it's all teens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe middle schoolers. But yeah, our parenting rules for teens and middle schoolers coming in the next 2 episodes. I literally cannot wait. I woke up in the night thinking about it.
Oh my gosh.
I was talking to Nick about it last night. Okay, we're going to go. See you guys later.
Thank you guys for watching.
You've been listening to the Cimarelli podcast. Follow Cimarelli on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. You can also find Cimarelli on Facebook and Instagram